I'm glad, that we got to know, as Floyd Shivambo actually revealed that, listen, the reason I went to Malawi, it is simply because I was sent by President Jacob Zuma. Secondly, in response to EFF, to Floyd Shivambo, who? EFF Batini? We are enemy number one, blah, blah, and they will never work with us because, Tina, we are aiming to destroy EFF. Listen, if we want right now, we can actually recruit even the top leadership of EFF and destroy it forever. Well, speaking about the destruction of EFF, I want us to speak about the following. There were elections that happened. Julius Malema even went there to campaign for EFF. Yet EFF, if they were not number 3, they were number 4. Speaking about death, I said to you the other time, are we not experiencing the death of EFF because in each and every by-election, they are not winning at all? And I said to you, they are hardly even number 2. So it begs the question, when EFF says they will never associate with MK Party because MK Party is going to kill them, and I'm saying to myself, wait, even now, during these by-elections, you're not even contesting power. The numbers are not numbering. And I know before you guys develop some chest pains and wait, relax. Look at the evidence, look at facts, and tell me what facts are saying. From where I'm seated, facts are simply saying EFF is dying. I hope not. I hope they don't die, but facts are saying EFF is dying. Show me a by-election where EFF was number 2. I'm not talking about number 1. Show me a by-election where EFF was number 2. EFF can say, or people by EFF can say anything else, but there's one thing that they can't brag about, and that is growth. What we are seeing, it is far from growth. So it begs the question, who is really destroying the EFF now? Now that Floyd took his people and they left EFF, who is currently destroying them? So much so that they can't contest power. Because they are not contesting power as of now. So Floyd Shivambo spoke about it and say, if we want right now, we can actually go there and recruit their leadership and get them to join MK Party. And when a man says, I can recruit your actual leadership, that man is simply telling you that don't go around portraying that you've got some sort of power and what. This man is simply saying you don't have the power that you are displaying. I or we have the power to destroy you. So in other words, you are existing at our own mercy. You are not existing because you are powerful. You are existing because you are on our own mercy. There's more conversation that has to be had about that. But let's listen to Floyd speaking about that here.
I went to join Umkhonto weSizwe myself. I was not forced or pushed or pulled by anyone. I was pulled by a principle which I still ascribe to now. Yeah. So there is no one who is destroying the economic freedom fighters. If there was an intention to do so, we could have a program to recruit members of the EFF to join Umkhonto weSizwe, which we can successfully do, by the way, including the national officials of the EFF. We can be able to recruit them because a lot of them, when we appraised them before we joined the MK, understood squarely and fairly well why it had to be done in that particular way, including provincial and regional leaders. It can be done, but we're not in a mission of trying to destroy the EFF.
Fighters, let's be honest about the situation on the ground. Take feelings and emotions aside and tell me, what exactly is going on with the EFF? I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I wouldn't have loved to see that political party collapsing. Like, I say this with my chest out. I wouldn't have loved to see EFF, or let me say, I will hate to see EFF not succeeding. I will hate that. I will hate to see EFF really struggling. I will hate to see that. But let's be honest, signs are there. If nothing happens from now until 2026 local elections, if nothing happens from now until then, be careful. The party might decline even further, and you might be forced to submit or admit publicly that the departure of Floyd and some members of EFF killed you. So in other words, everybody that is left is not the engine. Floyd was the engine, together with the people that left the party. Now that he left the party, what is it that display, or what evidence do we have that really prove that, okay, you guys are growing. You will not miss Floyd. You don't want Floyd back. Like, I want you to convince me factually. Take your emotions aside. Put them far away. They are not part and parcel of this conversation. But let's be realistic. You know, the situation that we are seeing here can be used in both positive and negative way. Positively, look, okay, let's start with the negative. The negative is to ignore the signs, because the signs are here that no, man, EFF is not doing well. Signs are clear. But positive signs is that you look at whatever is happening now, you take it, you use this data to say, okay, we are not doing well, fine. What is it that we need to change going into local elections? Because if you can do that now and identify all the problems and solve all those problems going into 2026 local elections, you then stand a chance of doing of performing a little bit better. What about you? Tell me in the comment section below. Again, let's move to this part. I told you guys before, when it became apparent that Floyd Shivambu went to the church, I said to you guys, I'm not a Bushiri fan. I'm not at all. But I'm just reasoning factually. There's nothing wrong that Floyd did. He explains that, no, first of all, I was sent by Jacob Zuma to go there. Secondly, I spoke to Bushiri. And he says, no, I'm going to church, so let's go to church. And thirdly, he says, I found over 5,000 South Africans were there. By the way, that includes Dr. Rebecca Maloba. But the attention was focused on Floyd. They wanted to make us fight political wars, which cannot be found. Look, there's no fact to back it up. But it became a big deal. But I'm concerned about MK Party. But we'll address the issue of MK Party. Let's start here.
And President Zuma said that we must make follow-up on the discussions that were being raised there. So I went to Malawi to see former President Joyce Banda, and I spent a lot of time with her. And then I went to see incumbent Deputy President Michael Usu, had very meaningful discussions. And both are a proper leadership which can change the politics of Malawi if they were to be given whatever responsibility they can be given in the future. But also here in South Africa, we had been in discussions with one of my former colleagues in the Pan-African Parliament called Enoch Chihana, who is one of the presidential candidates there. So we want to have a political discussion whose outcomes we will communicate once we're mandated to communicate in terms of what were the discussions. And after that, I went to see Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and to have broad discussions. I know him, like we used to have interactions when he was here in South Africa. And then he said that I'm going to a church service later on. let's go. Where am I to could refuse to go into church? Like, I've been to so many churches. I've been to the Nazareth Baptist Church. I've been to so many churches in South Africa. And what I was even interested about is that during my visit there in the Easter period, there were more than 5,000 South Africans were in Malawi to go to the church specifically, not for a political program that I was there for.
You see, there's one problem that I saw, or I have a problem with this. Who's communicating with MK Party? If the communication department doesn't consult other branches before a statement is issued, that means there are many things that get to be communicated, which is not a reflection of the party. But it looks like there are people who have monopolized the communication. They are utilizing the communication to fight their own political battles. Now you get to see that, I heard people saying Nhlamulo Ndlela and Duduzile Zuma are in control of that department. And now when you hear Floyd saying the communication department got everything incorrect, they rush to communicate something that they should have waited for before communicating. That alone, it's a cause for concern. A communication department in any organization doesn't operate in isolation. A communication department doesn't operate based on what they think it's good for the party. A communication department communicates what the party has decided on, or what the institution or the organization would have decided on. In this case, when MK Party issued a letter and said they are distancing themselves from this thing, Yaga Floyd Shivambu, then you have to say, was that communication a reflection of the organization, or it was a reflection of other people in the organization? It then tells me that there are fictions in the MK Party. That's one. Two. But it also, it also tells me that there need to be maturity in terms of the communication department. There has been so many things that were said in the by the communications department. Do you remember the other time I even said the thing? It was during the Floyd Shivambo visit to Bushiri's church. Do you remember I even said, when you start saying when you don't associate with thieves, what fugitive of the law, blah blah, and I said, how are you gonna explain a question of Zuma's association to the Guptas? How are you gonna explain that? Do you know that now you are inviting a lot of criticism? You're gonna be called upon to answer such questions. You're not. And I even raised this thing to say we have not had any communication about the disciplinary process for Duduzile Sambundla for the things she said on Floyd Shivambu. Nothing till today. Don't think that we are fools. We don't pay attention to those things. We do. We are paying attention. And I said, for the organization, it would have been nice for them just to keep quiet. Some matters, no matter how trending or haughty or provoking they might be, but just so that you don't get to be thrown in situations or conversations that really is going to compromise you. Don't comment. Just keep quiet. I said that, and I'm still saying it even today. It's a lesson for everybody. For me personally, my theme is, or my principles are, I don't fight a battle that is started by somebody else, especially if I don't see how I'm going to win that thing. I can only engage in a fight that I know that, okay, here there are greater chances of me winning this, even though it was not started by me. But generally, you start a fight with me, I don't entertain that. That's a principle that I live by, because I don't know why you started the fight, and I don't know where are we going with this fight. And if you follow that principle, it saves you in a lot of unnecessary things. For instance, there are people who are provoking you intentionally because they want you to say something. As a content creator, I've lived in such an environment where you're just provoked intentionally. People just want to see how you're going to react when you are angry. But if you use that principle in your life, it will save you a lot. In your day-to-day life, it will save you a lot. I know you will say, but that principle sometimes is very difficult to apply on the road. Yeah, because on the road, something happens. No. And I don't know why, man. Sometimes you overcome those road rage, but sometimes it just you just get caught up in a situation. In a situation where you feel like I shouldn't have reacted this way, man. Especially because I'm training myself to be a disciplined person. I shouldn't have reacted this way, but you've already reacted. But the principle that I'm trying to draw into I'm trying to create, or I'm trying to highlight, not create. I am trying to say the department, the communication department in the MK party will forever invite unnecessary criticism if they don't consult, but they just go on and publish things that later on will invite more questions. I did it intentionally to ask them about the Guptas and say, if you were to be asked about the Zuma's association with the Guptas, how are you going to answer that question? Because you are inviting a lot of unnecessary thing. And I'm telling you now, anything that is going to happen in the future, people are going to say, so and so did this, you did not react the same. So you see why it is important not just to write, but to wait. Sometimes when you are unsure of something, just wait. There's a principle that I know. It says, if you are double-minded, just stick on one point. So choose the safer option until you are sure of the next option. And that's the most powerful principle that I've ever learned in my life. If you are unsure of anything, just choose the safer option. If the safer option is for you not to go or proceed, just choose the safer option. Assess the other options first. Once you have clarity on the other options, then you can then proceed. But until then, stick with the safer option. Such is life. It will save MK Party a lot if they can just learn that. Just start. They will go a long way.